What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Founder Academy. I am Mark, the FUT founder, and we're going to do something a little bit different today, guys. So what I wanted to do today was actually go through, what are these called? The Winter, I forgot the name of them. Is it Winter Wildcards? I actually saw that the promotion came through today. Winter Wildcards, that's what they're called. So I want to go through the Winter Wildcard promotion. I thought it was a really cool one. The icon swaps, I'll give you my take on the icon swaps, what I think you should do, what I don't think you should do, all the different levels of them. And then we will go through some of the other stuff. So the first thing that I wanted to do was I've got some stuff on the transfer list here. So what am I doing? I want to go through the transfer list here. I am going to do an SBC. I had to sell off a bunch of this stuff. I wish I would have held on to it because it's probably worth more. And one of the reasons that I'm going to do the SBC, and I'll tell you what SBC I'm going to do in a sec, is because I have this. I have this issue that I have to deal with, right? So I have to do the SBC up front. I have two of these untradeable Jadon Sanchos. I didn't want to waste it, so I thought I'd wait. And the SBC that I'm going to do is going to be where is it? Wilfried Zaha. So this Wilfried Zaha card is part of this new promotion that's coming up, right? The Winter Wildcard. So there's two teams. Obviously, it's Friday. The first team came out today, and I think the next team comes out next Friday. This card has been absolutely jacked right up. So let's bring up his other card, his base card. I'm a big Zaha fan in general. I think he's a really good card in FIFA. And the base card was actually usable for like the first week, and now it is totally unusable. So this one they've jacked right up. We'll go through the other cards with the rest of the team, the objectives and stuff like that in a second, but I want to talk about this one. The reason I'm doing this is 168,000 coins to do. It's a little bit more expensive than what I was originally going to do from an SBC, which was the Trent Alexander-Arnold. I still plan on doing that SBC, but this one I just want to get out of the way because I need higher rated cards to do it. So when you compare the two, this one has 4 more pace, which is obviously pace is king. The 89 pace on its base card was fine. But the big ones are the shooting. The shooting went up by 8, the passing went up by 7, and then the dribbling went up by 4. And then you've got defending, which doesn't really matter because its defending so poor. And then its physical went up by 5 as well, which helps, but it's not the end of the world. So the big things with this card are, for me, the agility and the balance. His agility was already quite good. He was at 87, so it didn't go up a whole lot. But the balance is what really makes that card. When you got really high agility and balance, it becomes a really, really good usable card. And because he is relatively skinny and light in the game, he becomes like a poor man's Neymar. Now, I think this one had an upgrade on the weak foot. I think he was 5-star skill, 3-star weak foot, and now he's a 4-star weak foot. Overall, those stats are really good. What I would put on this card is an engine, get that pace right up to the, like, people that don't use pace, I think you're just, you're wasting you're wasting stats, because look, you need these guys to be as fast as possible. Let's be honest, right? Like, not putting a SBC or not putting a chemistry style that has pace on it, I think is a total mistake. You should always have pace on as much as possible, right up until 99. So I'm gonna put an engine on him that also boosts up his agility and his balance, so he becomes a total animal. And then his passing, because I'm gonna be using him out on the wing. His shooting is not super important, but it's already good, right? I don't need it to be like a striker. A striker has to have like 99 attacking position, 99 finishing, in my personal opinion, but this one is good enough for a winger. So this guy is going to be a really, really good card. He's got the flair trait, which is whatever. I think the flair trait's kind of a little irrelevant personally, but he will be a really, really good card, right? Like, he's, with an engine on him, he's right up there with Vinicius Jr. And Vinicius Jr. is so much more expensive. So right now we're going to do this one. I'm not going to film the whole thing. I'll just show you the end result of it, and we will come back to the video in a second. Okay, guys, so we are back with the first squad. We're just going to review who we have in the first squad here. They're primarily all untradeable cards, right? So there you go. Well, actually, the tradable. Untradeable. All the big guys are untradeable. We've got some tradable like 83s and 84s, but all the big cards are untradeable, ones that were just sitting in my club, because anything above 85, I think we had really just sold already, right? So that is going to be the first squad of Wilfried Zaha. So let's go into the store and actually open up that pack, because now we can put Jadon Sancho into the club because we had 2 of them, right? So the first one we used, and we'll use that second one in the second SBC. And we also have a bunch of packs, right? So let's open up these and see if we get any of these winter wildcard cards in them. I don't expect to get anything good because packs are usually terrible. But this will give us some fodder, hopefully. There we go, another Leno. So we can use Leno in the next SBC. Oh my god, okay. So we'll just send all this up to the club. When it comes to what I sell, I usually just sell pretty much everything. I'll put the high-rated guys up for a min list, and then anything else I'll just put up at least once and just have it try to see if it gets any coins at all. And if it does, great. If not, then no harm done. We'll just discard it and get the discard coins. But I at least try to put it up at least once for, min buy now. Or sorry, min starting bid and max buy now, and then just see what it goes for. So that, Argentina, let's keep. Coral, I usually keep the Nets, I don't know why. Everton, we're never going to use. Oh, these are all untradeable, right? So we'll swap all these. Hopefully these are all tradable now. Bauman, bang. So we will list all those up later, just some extra coins for the club. I also have that Next Generations card, that player that we get for just playing the game. I haven't opened that one yet because I couldn't with that Jadon Sancho sitting in my trade pile. Like I said, we're never going to get anything good with any of these packs, so I really don't hold my breath for any of them. The Mega Pack was a free pack, so I'm not going to complain. This one, actually, wow, that's actually not a terrible card. Oh, he's in the Austrian League. I was like, is that a Salzburg player? Because that will actually be very useful. But he will be an inform that we'll use for any of those SBCs that require cheap inform and they're just low rated. They always become useful at some point because informs become so hard to get that nobody ends up having any in their club. So we'll hold on to those until we can actually sell them. And again, like I said, we didn't pack anything good. I don't expect to. So the goal for this is just to get that Wilfried Zaha. Idrissa Gana Gueye. There's a German player. So that will probably sell for the German League SBC if we want to sell that. And this is our Next Generations player. The Next Generations players, to me, Phil Foden would be the best one you can get. And of course we get Camavinga, who's the worst one you can get. I was actually thinking for a second there it was going to be Mbappe, but all of these cards are really just useless, right? Like this one's like 1 base rating up from the base card. So he's not a card that we'll ever use. Like look at those stats, they're essentially irrelevant, right? But he'll just be a card that we have in the club. The Foden to me is the most useful because he's 1 up from the base. And then the Mbappe is actually worse than the base Mbappe. So it's just a really weird promotion. I don't really understand why they were doing it. What do they have for promo packs? Oh, they've got, jeez. You know what? We might put some money on. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But let's finish this Wilfried Zaha. So we have some time to do Wilfried Zaha. Get this 85 going. And Premier League. So let's get all those cards out and we'll come back in a sec again once I am done the SBC. Alright guys, we are back and this is the second squad that we are going to be submitting here. So nothing really of significance there. The Jadon Sancho and the Casemiro are really the only high rated cards. I'm not even going to go through them. A lot of untradables, a couple tradables with some of the lower rated ones, but we get a Prime Electrum pack and we get Wilfried Zaha. So this guy is going to be an absolute beast. Bang, bang, bang. There we go. Wilfried Zaha into the club. So that is an SBC that I highly recommend doing. He is going to be awesome. I can just tell, like, that card is going to be really, really good. So I look forward to using him in some games. He's going to be a lot of fun. But I want to now go through, so we'll throw him into the club, and I want to go through the new cards that have come out. So let's talk a little bit about this Winter what is it? The Winter whatever. All right, guys, we're back, and yeah, I succumbed to the pressure. I ended up picking up, or I put 12,000 FIFA points on and ended up packing, or ended up putting them on those ultimate packs because I got sucked into it. I'm a moron in that sense, but we ended up packing Baresi. You know, you'll see it here. We end up packing Franco Baresi. Now, he is basically worthless, but I believe this is the prime version of him. Or it might be... Yeah, it's got to be the prime, right? Because I think it's only primes in. But we packed up a couple things. Sergio Ramos. I don't even remember getting Sergio Ramos, to be honest with you. Ederson, Hugo Lloris. We got another Moreno, Handanovic, Jordi Alba. We actually had some really good pack luck in that. And we got this guy. He just came in the packs like as... he didn't. I guess he didn't count as one of the high-rated guys. We packed him 3 times. 3 times we got him. I was just like, oh my god, in 12,000 FIFA points, I'm just like, we got some really good stuff. But, like, 3 times we got this guy. I was thinking that we were going to get some of the cool winter wild cards, but we didn't end up packing any of the good winter wild cards. But we got Franco Baresi, and we ended up packing out that guy 3 times. So I don't know how much they go for. I don't know. I'm assuming that they'll probably release an SBC where you need one of them in it. But we can probably go do the Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. But that's not why you guys are here, right? Like, that was just kind of one of the side things. What I wanted to go through was some of the big name players, right? This promotion, I actually highly rate. Now, we saw the Zaha. Let's go through actually just the players themselves and see. Oh, that was wildcard signature signings. Oh, there it is, Winter Wildcard. So let's look up some of these guys. The big one, obviously, is Neymar. I don't even know where he's going to be. He's probably going to be like 1,000 pages deep into this. Let's start with the big cat there, Neymar, if there is any. You know what, this is going to take a really long time, so let's just search Neymar. The Neymar card is really interesting, so I'm interested to see what the prices of these. Wow, there's none on the market. So wow, okay, no wonder we didn't see any of him. But yeah, there's none on the market. So on Xbox, it looks like he's going for about 3 million. Now, this card we can't even look up. We can look up the concept one, but realistically, like, I don't want to sit there looking at the concept card. The Neymar card is going to be about 3 or 4 million. He is injured in real life, I believe, right now. So this card is actually going to be astronomically high. The other thing is, because it's not going to get any of the merit-based cards. So the only other savior for this price coming down would be if he gets in the team of the year at all. So if he goes in the team of the year, expect this card to drop, but it will hold its price just because it is a central card. So the striker Neymar, it allows people to be able to put him into a narrow formation with Mbappe up front or whatever, Messi. If they put a Messi central card, he'll be the same thing. But Neymar as a striker is going to hold its value. So this is a really good investment if you can get your hands on it. But because he's extinct, you're going to be paying top dollar, and he's only going to go down. So that's him. Let's go into Pogba. Pogba's a really interesting one. Now, Paul Pogba's a card that I really, really want, but I'm not going to pay this price for him. 1.2 million for this card. Whether he's worth it or not is a totally different conversation, right? So at the end of the day, Paul Pogba, one of my favorite players, if not my favorite player in real life. The reason that Paul Pogba has never been usable, and I'm going to sound like a broken record for people that have heard me say this, is a couple things. Now, his skill moves, I don't know if they upgraded his skill moves, but he's 5-star skill now, which I believe he was 4-star, but he might have been 5-star, 4-star, so I don't know if they touched that at all. But I don't think they touched any of the other elements of his card. But the big thing with Paul Pogba is he's lacked 3 key stats to make him unusable. One is his acceleration, right? His acceleration was, I believe it was 63 on his normal card. On his base card, he was, let's see, yeah, there you go. Plus 10 acceleration, plus 12 sprint speed. So this card now, the acceleration is still low. 73 is not super fast. He's like a train. Once he gets going, he hits top speed really well, but he takes too long to get into that quick jot into space. Now, for a striker, it's not really super problematic if they've got low acceleration. You obviously want them to have a high acceleration, but it's not as problematic because as a striker, you need to be able to pull away in that open field. Same with a central defender, But wingbacks and midfielders really need high acceleration because they're cutting back and forth quite a bit. They need to cut off passing lanes. You need them to jockey, and his acceleration makes him really unusable. But because this card has been jacked up, he's close to being usable, but you really do need to play either like a Catalyst or a Hunter, or I dare even say an Engine. So that's one of the elements that has made him unusable, is the acceleration. 2 is his finishing, but the finishing, again, has come up a little bit on this one. It's gone from 75 to 80, so he's now usable. So if you put a Hunter on him, he'd be quite good. But the big ones are the agility and the balance. Now, his agility and his balance have always made him too clunky to really be an effective midfielder, but they have jacked up the agility and the balance on this card. So I suspect this card is going to be absolutely awesome. Now, again, his acceleration, you need to put something with pace on it from chemistry style to make him usable, but 88 agility, 84 balance. If you put a, let's see what it would be, if you put a Engine on him, if you put an Engine on this card, he goes up to 78 acceleration, 94 sprint speed, but 93 agility and 94 balance. Like, that is absolutely awesome. His passing is already top notch, but again, with an Engine on him, it makes him really top tier. And then he's already felt like a really good defender because he intercepts passes really well, but they've jacked up his defending to 80. So this card is very, very good. Again, 1 million for this card, 1.2. A little too much for my liking. I don't think I would pay that much for him, but you know, if you are going to get a Paul Pogba, again, he's hurt in real life. He's not going to get any of the merit-based ones because he's never lent himself well to the way EA reward guys for merit-based cards, which is essentially just getting on score sheets. Let's see what this guy's actually going for. I'm expecting it to be 1.5 somewhere in there. There you go, 1.5 something. Yeah, 1.5, 1.4. Like, that's too much for me. You can get an icon for that. But that is a really, really high-rated card, and what am I doing? One that I really do recommend if you have the coins for it, but I wouldn't spend the coins on them if you are having to scrape it together, because you can get so much more for 1.4 million at this stage. I expect his price to come down and settle. At the very low end, he's probably going to be in the 1.11 million, and then he'll drop down once you really, especially during Team of the Year, he'll probably drop down to the 700 to 900k range. That's what I expect with that Paul Pogba, but don't expect him to really ever be like super cheap, at least till the end of the year, or he gets one even more jacked up, because that card, especially with the agility and the balance and the fact that people just love Paul Pogba, he's a Man United player, he plays for France, he's easy to link, it's going to be a very usable card for a really long time. This guy I packed a ton of times. He's actually going to be a really, really useful super sub, but again, he's already at discard value. Graham's a discard value just because he's an England 2 player, so not a lot of people are going to be using him. 15k, there you go, someone put a bid on him. Nelson Semedo, very, very good card. I wouldn't pay 100k for him. I think there's better wing backs. I would still use Kyle Walker over this guy, but he is going to be a decent card. Niakite, I can't go into him. Pau Torres, irrelevant. Adel Tarap's a really, really interesting one. This card is actually going to be very usable if you can link him. Now, he's got very tough links in the sense that he plays for Benfica. Not impossible, but there's not a lot of Benfica players that people want to use. And Morocco, very tough to link. But like, look at those stats, very well rounded. This is an emotional card for me because I'm a big Adel Tarap fan from back in the day when he was that kind of young phenom. No doubt about it that he's just a FUT legend, a FUT fanboy there. Will definitely like that card. We got to get ahead of these ones that are expiring. This is almost impossible to do. Spinazzola, 5-star skill from what I understand. There you go, 5-star skill, 4-star weak foot. Very, very usable. His defensive stats aren't fantastic, but he's so fast, he'll be one of the best defenders in the game. Embolo, this card is actually really good. 90, you put a hawk on this guy, you've got one of the best strikers in the game. You put a hawk, he'll be 95, 98 for his acceleration, his sprint speed. His attacking positioning is already really high. His finishing needs to come up. The shot power is absolutely awesome, and his strength, man, those physical stats, he will be a very, very beastly card. I expect that one. That is a bargain at 26k. Pau Torres, again, irrelevant. We got to get into one of those Niakite cards because they are hard to find on here. You can see what the drop rates are looking like, though, for some of these cards, guys. Like, that is crazy cheap, too, for Milinkovic-Savic. We'll get to him in a sec. With Niakite, good enough pace to play center back. There's a couple speed demons in the Bundesliga, so not super awesome, but his defending's decent, his strength is good. He'll be a good defender, especially for a cheap price point. And these guys are just going to go down and down and down, right? So expect them. Most of these cards that you're seeing the ton of, they're going to be between 12K and 20K for the most part. Where's Fabinho? There's one. So Fabinho, this card is very interesting. I don't know why they got rid of his defending, but they seem to have removed his defending for whatever reason. So he's actually now a good attacking card, funny enough. I instantly want to put him as a holding midfielder, but for some reason they've just made him an attacker-based card, and they've removed all his defensive stats. So very bizarre on that front. This guy looks like a decent winger, but again, who's going to use him because he is, he's a left winger who plays for Espanyol, I believe. There you go, Espanyol. So I don't expect him to be super relevant. The odd guy might have him in their Spanish league teams, especially if there is an icon swaps that requires you to do it. And where is... Who's the last guy we're looking for? Niakite. We keep having him expire. Milinkovic-Savic is the other one. Oh, no, we already looked at Niakite. Milinkovic-Savic is the last one. Now, this card, look at those dribbling and passing stats. Absolutely outrageous. The pace is going to keep him down. You can put like a shadow on him and make him a really good box-to-box or a holding midfielder. He's got the strength. He's got the passing. He's got the dribbling. But an interesting card. It's a really odd promotion, guys, to be honest with you, because some cards have just had certain elements jacked right up, and then other ones have had them removed. Like Fabinho, to get his defensive stats removed is really bizarre. I guess the only one we didn't look at was where is he? Kingsley Coman, if we can find one. I might have just passed one there. We need a Kingsley Coman here, guys. Where is one? I mean, the fact that I'm not seeing a whole lot of them makes me think that this is going to be a very hard card to find. 824K. Let's just look him up. Coman, Kingsley Coman. So there we go, 3 minutes, 825K. There you go. So 4-star, left-footed player. He's a striker, so he's a central card. I don't think he's, to me, he's not worth anywhere near that. Super speed demon, really good attacking, decent finishing. This is really just for links purposes, right? To hybrid teams, to have guys being able to use Bundesliga players playing in a narrow formation, right? You're getting him off the wing into a centralized position, but he's not worth 800 plus K. Decent card, but I wouldn't spend anywhere near that for him. But overall, this promotion, I really do like it. I think it's the first one in a while that's actually had some really cool cards. This is what FUT should be about. The UCL and the UEL, like merit based ones, like the group team of the group stage cards, like they don't really do a lot for me. There are a couple ratings improved, but overall the cards are not really anything to write home about. It's your standard guys that are in every one. It's like Ronaldo and Messi and Mbappe and Bruno Fernandes. This one's cool because they're picking guys that people want, right? Like they're picking some fan favorites. So I'm excited to see Team 2. Overall, Neymar obviously is the unicorn. You're never going to pack him. None of us will. Pogba, you're probably not going to pack. If you do, consider yourself really lucky because that is a really cool card. Fabinho, very usable. Spinazzola, very usable. The one card we didn't look at, Tuanzebe, I think is actually a very, very cool card. I don't think he's worth 200K. But he's very usable. Niakite, I would use him, but I wouldn't pay 100K for him. Milinkovic-Savic, 224K? That doesn't seem right. Yeah, I wouldn't pay that for him. Tarapt is a value at 27. Kingsley Coman, cool card, but again, I wouldn't pay 800 for him. Nelson Semedo, usable, wouldn't pay 100K for him. Pau Torres is worthless. And Bolo, value at 25K, I think. That is a great card. Achiampong, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but 22K, like he is what he is. I have 3 of them in my club, and I don't think any of them are going to be worth jack all. I'm probably just going to sell them because I don't really need them, and I'll hold on to one just in case we need it for an SBC. And then Graham is a cool card, but like who's going to use the championship? And then, oh, sorry, finally, Mbarba. He's actually a decent card, 34k, good value there, but you have to use a winger, and I think there's some decent wingers already in that promotion. So that is my take on Team 1. I also wanted to go through with you guys my feelings on icon swaps. So I had one of our loyal viewers, Shane, ask my opinion on, shout outs to Shane, loyal fan of the channel here, great guy. He asked my opinion on icon swaps. So I wanted to do a quick review here of icon swaps. Where is my picture that I had? So in general, so icon swaps, I'm just looking at it now. I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see. So it runs from December 15th to February 7th, right? There's 9 tokens each. The break is at January 10th. So the first 9 tokens are between now and January 10th. And then the second set's between January 10th and February 7th. So why I bring that up is when we look at the actual cards themselves that are available, there's a couple things that I want people to keep in mind with this. Icon swaps, people just view as free, right? They just go, oh, free cards, like you can get free icons. Conceptually, yes, but I'm a big believer that time is money. Some people don't. A lot of people in the FIFA community don't believe that because they just go, oh, time is money. Well, I've got all the time in the world. Okay, if you want to spend all the time in the world doing that, be my guest, right? But let's go through these and I'll give you my opinion on which ones are worth it, right? And I'll tell you in the end why I think they're worth it or they're not worth it. So these 3, you're going to get a lot of people doing them, right? So 5 icon swaps for this, I think is a great value. 83 by 25. 82 by 25 is really only going to be used if you've already done this one. Same thing for the 81s. You're going to work your way backwards. You're going to go 83, 82, and then 81. And right now, it's worth it to do that just because the 83 plus, you're likely capable of getting one of those winter, why do I keep forgetting the name of them? Winter Wildcards. The Winter Wildcard cards, which I think will be readily available in packs. There's a ton of them on the market. They're doing a bunch of promo packs throughout the weekend. There's going to be an absolute huge supply of those cards. But if you want to get one untradeable, the 83 by 25 is the way to go. And then these ones, 3 and 2, those are really easy to get. Iker Casillas is probably where I'm going to focus my time. I know I had this exact card. I didn't love him. I'd be willing to give him another try, but the reason that I sold him off was because he made enough mistakes that I was willing to give up on a card that's 350k. Now, I don't know what he's going for at the moment. We can quickly look that up. To me, I'm a big Iker Casillas fan, again, in general, in terms of him in real life, because I loved watching him play. I thought he was a fantastic keeper. He doesn't translate great into FIFA solely due to the fact that he's too short. So he's 290 right now, and a lot of that has the price drop because of icon swaps. But for me, 6 tokens for that card is very much worth it. An 89 rated goalkeeper who is an icon, so he links, that's a huge plus. The reason that I really do like that in terms of having an icon goalkeeper is because links in the back are very difficult from a goalkeeper standpoint. Like let's say you want a French goalkeeper, you really only have about 3 options, and 2 of them are in the EPL. One of them, Mandanda, who I'm not a huge fan of in FIFA, I think he's still at Marseille. So you don't have a whole lot of options, but you can just throw in a Casillas and he'll link those 2 guys soft linked in the back. Rio Ferdinand, another really good card. He's 1 extra. I'd contemplate doing the extra token just to get this Rio Ferdinand, because to me, he's even better than Casillas. Very good card, right? The pace is a little bit, there's leaving a little bit something to be desired, but the defending and the physical, you throw an anchor, you throw a shadow on him, and he's just one of those cards. The icon defenders always are just beasts in the back, so I do recommend having him if you do want to try it. The base are mid, I wouldn't touch because you'll probably get Franco Baresi. Mark Overmars, I think this is his prime. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole because that shooting and passing is absolutely disgraceful for a player that was very good in real life. I don't know how they can give him such low shooting and passing. Like his dribbling and his pace obviously were his best skill sets, but shooting and passing 82 and 81, he's way better than that. So that card I wouldn't touch I wouldn't go anywhere near. The mid icon, you might as well just save the 2 tokens and do the base or mid, because to me it's still a lottery and you're still just as likely to get a crap player. Marcel Desailly, I've had this card before. The huge issue with this guy is his passing. That passing is unworkable. The dribbling is unworkable. He's really just like a big beast to sit there in a holding defensive midfielder, but once he wins the ball, he doesn't have good enough passing to really be able to do anything with it, and he doesn't have good enough dribbling to be able to hold it. So he doesn't make a really good holding midfielder. He's a guy that you'd have to swap into a center back position, and the problem with him going into a center back position, that means you need a center back that can move into the midfield, and to find a center back that's willing or that's good enough to play in the midfield, I mean, who are you going to use, right? Like, you can tell me if they put like a Kyle Walker as a center back player, you can do that swap, but to me right now there's not a whole lot of center backs that I'd really want to do that with. This Del Piero is a very, very good card. I think for 12 swaps, that's kind of the ceiling for where I would say, like, look, put swaps into a dedicated player. I personally wouldn't do this one. I just don't, he's not a player that resonates with me that much, but he's got good pace, good shooting, passing and dribbling. You could put an engine on him again and he'd be a very, very good card. But again, that's the really high end of this, because I think people just go, well, for one more swap I can get this, one more swap I can get that. I just think that, like, the icon swaps, and again, we'll go into them in a second to see what you actually have to do to earn them. They're not as easy as people think, and they're not super difficult, but they're annoying to get, right? Like, this is really time consuming to do this, guys. Like, I do not love doing icon swaps because I just don't think they're super fun. 89 plus mid icon, again, I wouldn't touch because you'll get a crap one, base or mid player pick. This one's a little bit better, but again, you only get two options, so you could easily get two crap ones. Zambrata's a decent card, but you have to really want a right back. Mid or prime, again, don't like leaving things up to chance. Base, mid, or prime player pick, one of two. These, like, with these, there's just too much chance, right? I don't like leaving things up to chance, especially this, right? Like, you could get two base cards. You could get base Henrik Larsson and base Mark Overmars as your two picks, right? Like, to me, 17 icon swaps to do that, I'd rather get the Rooney. But again, I would love this Rooney, but he's not worth 17 icon swaps. And the reason I say that is because look at what you have to do to get these icon swaps. First of all, you're waiting until January 10th at the bare minimum to be able to even get anywhere near that. Second of all, you're using 17 of the 18 total, so you have to do like all these objectives. And then third, primes are coming out. So his price right now, like, let's take a look at his price. Wayne Rooney's price for the mid icon Rooney is 830K, right? So he dropped a little bit because people saw that he was going to go in swaps. He rebounded when people saw that how much you got to do in order to get him, or they're going to get tired of having to do it. They're going to just get, like, they're going to have the swaps burning a hole in their pocket, and they're going to waste it on like one that costs like 5, so they won't be able to, you have to save 17 of these. You can't essentially do any of the other icon swaps. So as soon as you did like the 83 by 25 pack, you can't get Rooney, right? So Rooney is 830K because people are realizing he's not worth the work that goes into getting him. But even if you were willing to do it, the prime is going to be out, okay? So the prime, 89 pace, 92 shooting. View it like this. Whatever these guys' prices was a year ago is probably, a month ago is probably where they'll settle. So Rooney was about 1.1 the mid. Once the primes come out tomorrow, okay, he'll probably be about that 1.4 to anywhere between 2 million, right? Anywhere in that swing. He is going to eventually drop down within a month, I would say, to probably about 1.1. So he'll settle in where the mid was because people are going to be upgrading. People will be packing him. There'll be more supply. So this mid Rooney is quickly going to be the second best Rooney in the game as of tomorrow. And more people are going to be packing that card, so he will drive prices. That will drive prices down because of the supply, and then the mid will drop even further. So where I'm going with all this is, if you really want that Rooney, go out and just buy him, right? Like, and I'm not saying that everyone's got 800K or even 600K when his price drops, but this card is just going to go down and down and down and down and down. If you really want Rooney, like a fresh Rooney, I would just recommend going out and purchasing him, because I just don't think that he is worth anywhere near the grind that you have to do to go get him. So like, let's look at those. Where are they? Is it milestones for the icon swaps? There you go, icon swaps. Okay, so 6 squad battles on world class with silver players, 11 silver players. That's annoying to do on world class. You can do that quite easily, but it's annoying to do, right? Because playing the computer on world class, even when you're playing like those 45 rated teams, world class is really annoying because all it does is hold the ball, and then as soon as you get near it, it passes it. It just keeps the ball away from you. It's really annoying to play. World class difficulty for 12 or 11 Eredivisie players. Win 6 with 11 Argentinian players. Win 6 with 11 Brazilian players. And win 6 with first own players. And then the FUT Champs one. Okay, so let's say for me, I don't play FUT Champs just because generally I don't like playing it, but for people that play FUT Champs, that might be easy. Then you've got this, which essentially is 30 games, but let's say you can group 1 Club Wonders with the silvers, right? So let's say on average you're doing a couple of these together. You're still probably doing between 20 to 25 games, right? Somewhere in there. So that's quite a few. Plus you'd have to do the 13 here, right? That's just for 6 of them. The PL, you have to go in to do that toxicity, right? If you want to get 3 of these, right? So you go in there, you do the PL ones, but you're also dealing with people that are screaming at you for the golden goal rules and all that garbage that's going on there. Same thing with the Spanish League, and then same thing with the Serie A, right? So this is it 6 games, 10 separate matches? So on minimum 10, 20, 30, and then you've got another, let's say 25 games here. So you've got 55 games plus the FUT Champs if you're doing them all. 13, so you're at about 68 games if you wanted to do all of these, right? Which I'm not saying you have to do all of them, but the point I'm trying to make here is there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. 7, 8, 9, right? So you're playing about, this is just to get Rooney, right? So you're playing like about 65, and that's assuming that you just won all of them and did them all in the shortest amount of time and actually got them. Don't forget the games where you're going online and actually if you're doing the golden goal, you lose them. So you could be playing anywhere between 65 to 100 games, depending on how, not 100, but let's say 65 to 80 games, depending on how good you are. That's a lot of time of FIFA, guys, in order to get this, in order to get Wayne Rooney, and that's just half of them. You have to do the second half when that comes around. So for me, the strategic way of looking at this is I just go, okay, let's say I want to do Iker Casillas, and then I want to do, let's just say Iker Casillas. I guess what I would do is, in this case, I would just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would just get those out of the way, and then I would consider doing one of these. Like, I will just go in there and do the EPL one. Get those 6 wins, those 10 games, and for 30 to 40 games, I'm getting Iker Casillas. That's the way I would do it, because anything more than that, it's just way too much work. Or if you wanted to do that 83 by 25 and you don't care about any of these icons, I would just go in there, get the low-hanging fruit of getting 3 of these done. Next thing you know, I think it's 5 of them. So you could just do the squad battle ones. Just sit there, go mind numb, play the squad battles ones in between 20 to 25 games. You can sit there and you'll have a pack for 25 83 plus rated players, and you might pack a Winter Wildcard card. So that's the way I view this. I think icon swaps is not worth it for the high-end stuff. They try to tempt you by getting you to play for Rooney or getting one of the high-end ones. If you have the time, if you have the patience, be my guest and go do it. But for me, strategically, I look at the value, and I look at the valued cards. To me, Rio Ferdinand, Iker Casillas are value, and the 83 by 25 are the value. So I would focus on just getting 1, if not 2 of those if you can. But other than that, I wouldn't spend too much more time on icon swaps. I think it's something to do, but really that's about it. It's just something to do. Also, don't forget, tomorrow is when Prime icons come out, so that will rapidly affect the market. If you are going to invest in mids or bases, go out and get a fresh one and just hold it. If it's a guy that you think will have some demand, I'm trying to think of a good example here. Most of the cards are actually really crappier versions of their prime, but let's see what we can what we can find. I'm trying to think of a good suggestion. If you are going to invest in icons, invest in a mid or base prime that, or sorry, mid or base prime, a mid or base fresh card that will hold its value. Like let's say you wanted to do Baby Eto'o. That's a decent shout. People still like Baby Eto'o. He is going to drop price-wise, but at the same time, if you're going to look for a short-term turnaround, go out and get one of these ones that are fresh, right? So look at how rare it is to get a fresh icon already. But right now, you can go get one. This one's jacked up already. There you go. You got one card on the market, right? You've got one card on the market that's, actually this one might be fresh as well. No, it's not. So go out and get this card, right? So as long as he's relatively close to the cheapest card on the market, which it looks like he is not, but go out, wait, and once you see one that comes out for this card, for example, I think is 1.07. So if you see somebody who puts one up, who just packed him in one of these promos and he's 1.07, you can hold on to that. And as long as that card holds relatively its value, yours being a fresh one in a week or two is going to be highly desirable, because people like myself that obsess over fresh cards, these cards aren't going to be available the rest of the year. The only way you'll be able to get one is if you get it through a pack, which, like, let's be honest, you're probably not going to get. You're not going to get the card you want in one of those blind packs, like the player packs or the player picks or the icon packs. So if you are going to invest, it is a little bit risky, but that would be my recommendation, is going out and getting a fresh version of one of these cards that are no longer going to be in packs. Like mid Seedorf is the best Seedorf. My concern is that all the other cards, now that there's primes out, his price is going to drop a little bit, but he will hold. So this is a short-term investment that I'm talking about, but the mid Seedorf is the best version, and there won't be any more. So anybody that wants him going into the future, if you want a fresh version, you're going to have to pay that premium, right? Like, there you go. There's hardly any fresh ones on the market, if any at all. I doubt this one is. There you go. So there's no fresh one. So if a fresh one comes out, he will hold his value relatively well, because he is going to be the best version of this card, and there's not going to be any as of tomorrow. So that is going to be the end of the video, guys. I hope you found it useful. I know I was talking quite fast. This is going to be a long video. I'm interested to know what you guys think. Do you like this type of content? Do you want to see me do reviews of these promos? Do you want me to do more of a thorough breakdown? I tried to kind of rush through it because I didn't want to spend too much time breaking down every single card. To me, icon swaps, you got my take on it. The Winter Wildcards, really some really good cards in there. But at the same time, there's a lot of content coming out, so I'm trying to stay on top of all of it. And let me know what you guys think. Any questions that you have, or any things that you'd like to see on the channel, please let me know, and I'll try to take care of that for you. Until next time, guys, I appreciate you sticking till the end of the video. Take care. Peace.